Okay, so rumor has it, and the rumor's getting pretty loud, that a Generations remaster is set to be revealed at the upcoming Sony State of Play presentation, which will be happening tomorrow, so I don't have a lot of time. I am so conflicted. Once there was a time where I would have done nothing but jubilate at the idea of a Generations remaster, right? But that time has passed, and I now realize that we live in a dystopia where Sonic Colors Ultimate exists. That one thing, pretty much, is keeping my anticipation at an all-time low. For a long while, I low-key have just been wanting a Generations port to modern consoles, you know? Being able to take Generations on the go with my Nintendo Switch sounds like a dream. Just a one-to-one port, I would have gladly taken that with a smile on my face, but according to the leaks and rumors, we sure could be in for something worse than that, as Generations is probably set to get the Colors Ultimate treatment, which has a very bad connotation going for it. I've written down a bulletin list of my hopes and concerns that I have in regards to Generations Ultimate, and I will be going over all of them right here while watching this pre-recorded footage of the OG Generations with you guys live. All for the sake of discussion before the day of reckoning befalls us. Oh boy, here we go. So let's start with my hopes, because that list is shorter. So, based off of the leaks and some of the rumors, there is additional content being rumored. You know, additional content in the form of more playable characters, namely Shadow. You know, this whole 2024 year being the year of Shadow. A lot of people are saying, a lot of people are hoping, you know, with the movie and all, the rumored spin-off TV show that he could be getting, the rumored Sonic and Shadow game, which could also maybe be the Sonic Generations remaster. I'll probably get more into that later, but yeah, there's that going on, and then people are rumoring that Shadow could be getting the playable spotlight in this Generations remaster as well. So yeah, this year being a year of Shadow, huge. It could be really huge, really big. And in order to, you know, because Sega, they're gonna want to, what's the word? Capitalize. There it is. There it is. They're gonna want to capitalize off of the whole Shadow boom that's gonna be going on with the movie. The movie's gonna make Shadow a very popular character, which is saying something because he already is exactly that. He is, like, what, the second most popular Sonic character? You know, behind the Blue Blur himself. So yeah, Shadow getting even more popularity is going to be massive. Really big. So they're gonna want to take full charge of that. They're gonna want to grab that by the horns and milk it for all it's worth. My god, are they gonna do that? So Shadow being playable in a Generations Ultimate sounds pretty believable to me. Additional content also in the form of extra stages could be on the table, but I have my skepticism on that because, well, based off of Sonic Team's track record with level design since Generations, it's fallen off, alright? It has fallen off. Their level design quality is nowhere near the peak that it used to be back with Unleashed and Generations. Look at the level design of Lost World and up. You know, Lost World, Sonic Forces, and Frontiers, they do not sport great quality level design. A lot of their level design is primarily automated, you know, just the player just boosting to win in some cases, you know, jump here at a specific time. A lot of it's very scripted. It's no player expression at all. It's not great. Not great at all. It isn't dynamic. It isn't really cool. We don't really see Sonic doing cool stuff like we see him doing right now, like doing tricks in front of a fish that's trying to eat him. We don't really get that stuff anymore, you know? We don't really get that cool factor in the gameplay as much anymore. And when we do get it, it's like in those stupid QuickTime sessions that we got in Sonic Forces. It's awful. It's dumb. But yeah, I'm kind of rambling. Their level design has taken a hit, if you ask me. It has fallen off. Not great. From what I've heard, if I remember correctly, the reason for that was because a lot of the level designers that worked on Unleashed Generation moved on to work at Nintendo, which is, I mean, I don't know for sure if that's true or not, but if it is, that's, well, that adds up. That tracks. That checks out to me. But yeah, it's a yikes. Regardless of what happens, their level design in recent years has been not great. So if we do get new levels and new stages, in this generation's remaster, I highly doubt that it will be of the quality that we saw in the OG generations. And the quality of the OG generations is it's one of my biggest concerns when it comes to a generation's remaster. One of the biggest ones. But in fact, actually, that's the next bulletin point that I have here. Actually, my next hope for our generation's remaster is that it is on par of, if not better than, the original game's quality. You know, I mean, come on. We're Sonic fans here, right? We're all Sonic fans here. I'm going to assume. So we know, as a collective, as a community, that remasters within the Sonic brand are not great. They do not have the best reputation going for them. I think there's only been 2 official remasters of games, those being Sonic Adventure DX and the more recent Sonic Colors Ultimate. Both of them have very unideal reputations going for them. They are, a lot of people view them as the inferior versions of the games to play, and most people think that the original, it's just the way to go. The originals are the best way to play, and which is never good for a remaster. A remaster should always strive to improve upon the original in most ways, if you ask me. It should be better. It's your second go at things. It's your second chance. It's another chance to make it, ideally, an already good game even better, right? But as far as Sonic is concerned, that has not been happening over the years. And my worry is that generations probably won't change that, depending on how it's handled. On the other hand, though, if it is on par of the quality of the original, we win, alright? I say we win. That's a win. Like I said, I would have taken a 1-to-1 port of Generations any day. I would have taken that with a smile on my face. As long as I could take Generations on the go, that's a win for me, alright? If it's on par with the original game, that is a win for me. However, if it is by some miracle even better than the quality of the original game, we're not just winning at that point. That is a complete turning point, alright, for the reputation of Sonic remasters. This remaster could change every preconceived notion that we have on Sonic remasters, alright? This could be that. I'm not... it could be that. Are my hopes high for that? Not really. I'm trying to keep them tame, trying to calm it down. I don't want to get my hopes too high, because the more I do that, the more I risk just being disappointed by whatever could happen. I am being very skeptical going into this, but I would like to be more optimistic, than I would have been in a world where Colors Ultimate doesn't exist. But man, it's a mess. It is a mess. It really does depend on how it's handled. A lot of things went wrong with Colors Ultimate. Way more things than I ever would have imagined could have went wrong with Colors Ultimate. And I'm still in the position where I don't want to believe the same thing will happen to my beloved Generations, Generations is one of the most critically acclaimed Sonic games of all time, but so was Sonic Colors, and they still dropped the ball on that anyway, so I don't know. My hopes aren't the highest, but I'm trying to keep them from being the lowest as well. It's a tricky position. It being on par with the quality of the original is a huge win. It being better than the quality by some miracle is more than a huge win. I can't even describe what it is, alright? It really could be a huge turning point for Sonic remasters from this point onward. It could be. That's a thing that could happen. What is happening in this gameplay here? Oh god, I'm stuck. How did that happen? Yeah, I remember being very confused about this. Anyway, I'm getting distracted now. wow. All right. Well, let's get to my last and final hope, because I feel like I've touched on everything else when it comes to its quality, whatever, kind of. But my last final hope is that it's just all the issues that Colors Ultimate had will not be present here. That's my final hope. It's a hope that I'm not putting a lot of stock in. I don't have the highest faith in it. But all the problems that Colors Ultimate had, I hope that this one will not. You know? According to some of the leaks, Sega has learned from their Colors Ultimate experience. Kind of a load of crap if you ask me, but according to some of the leaks they've learned, they've learned from giving it to Blind Squirrel, they've learned from giving it to developers who may not have all the experience, in the world to make something like that happen successfully without fault, But, like, here's the thing about that. With Sonic Colors, there was a lot more to mess up. And the fact that they probably knew that and still gave it to an amateur developer, it's, well, why'd I do that? Why'd I jump off why'd I do that? Alright, okay, anyway, well, alright, jeez. Alright, so, them giving it to Blind Squirrel, right? They didn't really have a lot of experience. They were amateur developers. As rude as that sounds, I don't really know how else to put it, okay? They were pretty amateur developers, and that shows in the final product of Sonic Colors Ultimate. With Sonic Colors, like I was saying though, there was a lot more to mess up there. Sonic Colors was originally a Wii exclusive, and because of that, a lot of Colors code was intrinsically tied to that of the Wii. It was optimized for the Wii and only the Wii, using code specific to the Wii. And so when Blind Squirrel had to get their hands on it and ports the game to other consoles that weren't just Nintendo, or that literally anything but the Wii, they had to completely rewrite all that code from scratch, because it would not have worked on any other console, because it was made exclusively for the Wii. So they had to rewrite all of that, being the amateurs that they were. And I think because of that, Colors Ultimate ended up having a lot of the impressive amount of glitches and faults and just these unoptimized issues that it had. I think most of it was a result of not just Blind Squirrel being, not the most knowledgeable, being amateurs. It was because, well, you gave an amateur developer the task of literally rewriting all that code for a game that was... Okay, that was an unfortunate jump by me. I meant to do that shortcut thing there, and I completely butchered it. The homing attack, dude! It didn't... Whatever, man. But yeah, Where am I? My own gameplay is distracting me. But what I was getting at was that there was a lot more to mess up with a Colors port to modern consoles, because all that code has to be written from scratch, and they gave it to an amateur developer. What I'm trying to say is that Generations doesn't have that issue. Generations was made for multiple consoles. It was made for the PS3 and the Xbox 360. This version that I think they're remastering they're not going to remaster the 3DS version. I doubt. They wouldn't do that. Nobody wants that. But yeah, they're assuming that they're remastering this one, which, yes, they don't have to deal with that anymore. They don't have to deal with exclusive code that's intrinsically tied to an old ass console. They don't. That isn't an issue here. So even if they didn't learn, right? Even if Sega was deluded enough to give Blind Squirrel another chance, right? Hypothetically, let's say that they were to give the Generations remaster to Blind Squirrel again. I'm trying to say that not even Blind Squirrel could mess this up as much as they messed up Colors, because there simply isn't as much to mess up. I could be wrong. I could be a fool for being overly optimistic here. I could be completely dead wrong. And they could give it to Blind Squirrel anyway, and they'll completely butcher it all over again. That could happen. It could. But I'm trying to give a little credit here and have just a little sliver, a smidgen of faith, right? There's less to mess up with a Generations remaster, and so I believe that there is less that will be messed up with a Generations remaster. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm going to hope that I'm not. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about all that. I'm just hoping that all those colors, ultimate glitches, and whatever the hell went wrong with that, the optimization and whatnot, I'm really hoping that it is a step. I'm really hoping that this Generations remaster is a step above whatever the hell happened with colors, man. So unfortunate. But that's it. That's it for my hopes. That's it. Let's move on to my concerns / fears. My first one kind of relates to what I was already saying just now. My first concern is that they're going to hire another company for cheap to make the remaster. You know, they're going to enlist another amateurish company that they can pay cheap for, because I think the more experience the company has, I think the more you have to pay, you know, to commission them or enlist them, whatever the hell. I'm just throwing words out here. But by giving it to an amateur developer, you know, by giving it to someone who may not have all the experience in the world, they can get away with saving money. They can get away with paying less for the projects to get done. And that's pretty much Sega's motto, right? Spend less, make more, right? You know, and I believe I have my fears that they're going to do that all over again. Because if they did it with Colors, which was another well-regarded Sonic game at the time, then I don't see why they would treat Generations any different. I don't have a lot of hope. Again, rumors and whatnot are saying they learned their lesson, but I am taking that with the largest grain of salt I could find. I don't know about that one, pal. I do not know about that one. But that's something I'm gonna have to see it. I'm gonna have to see to believe it. But regardless, they could. I fear that what might happen is that they're gonna give it to another amateur developer for cheap. You know, just to get the job done. Sonic Team, I don't think they're gonna be the ones working on this. I don't think. I could be wrong, but I don't think they're gonna be working on this, because if rumor also has it that there's a mainline modern Sonic. There's a linear modern Sonic game, primarily revolving around Sonic and Shadow in the works. You know, there's a Sonic and Shadow game being worked on to release just in time for the movie 3, right? Which also sounds reasonable to me, because again, Sega's going to want to capitalize off of the Shadow popularity boom that is bound to happen, right? They're going to want to capitalize off of that as much as possible, and getting Shadow playable in Generations and getting a whole nother game based around him and Sonic and their rivalry and whatnot, just like in the movie, that sounds realistic to me. And so because of that, I am holding the belief that Sonic Team is out of the picture, right, when it comes to a Generations remaster. I do not think that they're going to be the ones behind it. I think it's going to be another developer, and I think it's going to be another one for cheap. Hell, if they might do it. They might give it to Arzest, actually. Maybe, you know, the people who worked on Sonic Superstars. They could give it to them, which is also concerning. They could give it back to Blind Squirrel again, like I said before, which is concerning. But they could also give it to a no-name developer that we've all never heard of, right? And we've probably never heard of them for good reason, right? But they'll give it to them for cheap. You know, just to get the project done and out of the way. And that's what I'm worried about. And I'm worried that the quality of the remaster could take a hit from that, just like Colors Ultimate did. It's another huge concern of mine. I'm worried about that. I do not think they're going to give it to a developer of renown that will actually do the product justice. I'm not so sure. I'm holding out little hope when it comes to that, you know. Okay, well that's an unfortunate jump by me. Wow. That's unfortunate. Anyway, so yeah, I'm afraid that they're gonna mess it up because they're gonna give it to another company for cheap. and not someone who has experience and trusts, you know? And I don't think Sonic Team is in the picture because they're potentially working on another game right now. So I do not think that I don't think, actually. I can just stop there. But yeah, moving on. I think I'm running out of things to say on that. I'm also, another concern of mine, this is probably the smallest concern, but I'm still going to have an impressive amount to say, given how little it probably is in the grand scheme of things. I'm worried of the remixed music, right? So when Colors Ultimate came out, they made the decision to remix pretty much the entire soundtrack, right? They remade the entire thing. Why this is a concern for me is because I did not like the majority of the remixes in Sonic Colors Ultimate. I know that some people did. If you did, that's great. Good for you. I am genuinely glad that you're able to enjoy that music that I cannot, because that just means more enjoyable music for you, which makes you happier than I am. But, I mean, I did not enjoy most of the music in Sonic Colors Ultimate. The remix stuff, anyway. I enjoyed the original soundtrack's music quite a bit, yes. But what they did with the remixes in Colors Ultimate, with the whole techno beat thing, making them sound more cyberspacey, making them sound all, I don't know, man. I don't like it. They mess it up. I feel like the biggest example I could give of this is Planet Wisp, right? Planet Wisp is supposed to be this beautiful area. Its scenery is gorgeous, and you're seeing this beautiful home planet of the Wisp being taken over by Eggman, and the music, I think the music in the original portrayed that really well. It really did. It captured the beauty of it, right? And the more you carried on into it, some of its acts, the music sounded a bit more techno and whatnot in some areas, just a little bit, but it kept it tame, and it was still composed by Tomoya Otani, right? I think he was still the lead composer of that game as well, you know. And I also think he was the lead composer of Colors Ultimate. And he completely ruined his own compositions, if you ask me. What he did to Planet Wisp Act 1 in Colors Ultimate, it completely ruins the original intent and the original feel of the zone, if you ask me. Completely ruins it. It's supposed to be this beautiful area being taken over by Eggman. Its beauty is being compromised. And the music did a great job at making you acknowledge that beauty. But the music in Colors Ultimate, it just sounds like a rave, man. And I hate it. I personally cannot stand it. Again, all the power to you if you can. I'm not throwing any shade at you whatsoever, but I can't stand it. And I'm worried that the music in Generations Ultimate could be completely screwed as well, you know? I'm worried that they're gonna miss the point of some of the track's original compositions all over again and completely mess it up. I'm also worried that those scumbags, right? Those scumbags at Sonic Team are going to charge extra for the original compositions, because they did that with Colors Ultimate. I'm not sure they did it with all of them, but they did it for some of them. Namely, again, Planet Wisp. Dude, you have no idea how upset that made me. You like you like the original music more? Fork up the cash then. Pay money to have the soundtrack in the game. Oh my god, I hate it, man. Makes me sick. But yeah, I'm worried that the music's gonna be messed up. That's pretty much it. I'm worried that the soundtrack will be made worse than well, I was almost gonna say that it already is. It's not. The soundtrack of Generations is pretty good. Most of its remixes, yes, it hardly has any original compositions, and the original ones that it does has are not great. But like, still, the remixes that Generation does feature, they cook. They really do. They some of them cook. You know, and I'm worried that they're gonna like remix the remixes or something like that, completely screw it up. But whatever, man. Let's move on to my next worry, that being that the quality is going to be somehow worse, and that the Switch port is going to get the worst of it. I'm worried that the overall quality of the product will be made worse. I've already kind of touched on this with the whole developer thing. It depends on who they give it to. It depends on how it's handled, if it's rushed or whatnot. You know, a lot of factors play into its quality, right? And well, that's unfortunate. Wow. Yikes. So that really did upset me. That upset me. Trying to turn supersonic on a platform that fell into the lava, and I lost my rings while transforming to supersonic. That upset me. Look at that. I'm restarting. Pissed me off that much. Anyway, yeah, I'm afraid that the quality is going to be worse. But I feel like that's a general concern from everyone. A lot of people have now lost faith in this type of stuff due to Colors Ultimate. You know, I'm glad I'm not the only one, right? A lot of people are fearing that Generations could get that straight up Colors Ultimate experience, man. Ooh, boy. But let's move on to my final concern here, and that is that the impact is lessened by recent games. I'm afraid that the impact of a Generations remaster has been impacted by the more recent games. And this was a concern I didn't exactly have until someone pointed it out to me. Somebody mentioned it in the comments of a post that I made about people wanting to hear my thoughts on this. I made a post asking if people wanted to hear my thoughts on this, and in the comments of that post, someone mentioned that you know, that a Generations remaster is generally unneeded, right? They don't feel like it deserves one. Right? It's Generations old. It's kind of hurts me to say it, but yeah, kind of, you know, it's getting there, right? It's like, what, 12 years old at this point? My goodness. It's 12 years old, but it's like 12 years old, but the thing is, it doesn't exactly feel like it. And okay, that's unfortunate. See, one thing they could fix in Generations is how, like, the traction. You notice how I just, like, slipped off there? I just slipped. Like, there's nothing I boosted at, like, full speed at a wall, and because of that, the inertia of my speed just, like, I bounced off the wall and just slid, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. The traction in Sonic Generations is very suboptimal. It really is. It's one of my biggest issues with the original Generations. That's something that they could fix, you know, ideally, maybe, that they could improve upon the original game. Right? That is a thing that could happen. Still not gonna get my hopes too high on that one. But anyway, back to what I was saying. The recent games, you know, Lost World, Forces, Frontiers. Think about it. You already know it. What is something they all have in common? Nostalgia pandering. Yes. Yes, ever since Generations, we Sonic fans have been spoon-fed nostalgia time and time again with every subsequent release thereafter. Green Hill there, Green Hill here, we cannot escape the Green Hill, no we cannot, and Chemical Plant and Sky Sanctuary are also quickly becoming culprits of the same offense, alright? Just getting so tired of seeing these zones time and time again. I did it again? I tried to turn Supersonic on the same platform that I knew was going to fall again? What is wrong with me? What was I thinking? Alright, whatever. Anyway, wow. I might just be bad at Generations. Anyway, yeah, we've seen Green Hill, right? We've seen Chemical Plant, and we've seen Sky Sanctuary time and time again. And Generations did this first. Generations started it first, and this was back when it was still a bit special. You know, it was great to play these zones after so long in 3D with the boost controls. It was great. Revisiting these new, recognize these beautiful looking zones again. They were done justice. They were given justice. You know, it was great. We loved it back then, but now we're sick of it. And because some people are more sick of it than others, they don't see the need for a Generations remaster. We've been seeing Green Hill, Chemical Plant, and we've been seeing reused zones, right? Time and time again. And that's all Generations really is, just reused zones from past games when we've already been getting that, like, over and over again over the past, like, entire decade, over the past, like, last 3 mainline entries. We've been getting that over and over and over, and people are kind of tired of it. You know, and I feel like the impact of a Generations has been damaged by that. A lot of people might not care because we've already been pandered by these zones that we've revisited over and over, and now we have to do it again. Now we have to do it again because we're revisiting the game that started it all. You know, and a lot of people. There are some people. This isn't something I really considered beforehand, but yeah, there are some people who feel this way where our Generations remaster is unwanted. It's unneeded. Why give us this when all we've been doing over the past decade is revisiting old zones over and over again anyway? And now they're kind of asking us to do it again. It really does make me think. It really does. It really does make me think. Well, like, we really are never going to escape these zones, are we? We're never going to escape Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary. We can't run. No matter how fast we Sonic fans run, no matter how fast Sonic runs himself, Green Hill, Chemical Plant, and Sky Sanctuary will always catch up. There's no escaping it, huh? Ay, ay, ay. But yeah, I'm afraid that the impact of a Generations remaster has greatly been softened by this. It has been negatively impacted. Ow. It has been negatively impacted, by the fact that we already have been visiting these. What the hell just happened there? I give up. Okay, I guess I'm giving up. But yeah, yeah. Wait, what am I doing? Oh, I'm done. No, the gameplay's over. I've rambled too long that the gameplay's over. Let me just restart that. You guys don't mind if I restart it. I'm almost done here. I'm just gonna ramble a little bit longer. I'll just restart the gameplay for a little bit longer. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, a Generations remaster, I think it might be coming out at a very inopportune time, right? And I didn't think about that. But it is coming out at a very inopportune time. People don't really want this. Do I? Kind of, if it's done right, yeah. I want it because I just want to play Generations on my Switch. I just want to take Generations on the go. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not paying for a Steam Deck. No, thank you. Again, taking Generations on the go is still a dream to me. So I'm kind of already sold on that merit alone. Again, I would have taken a 1-to-1 port. All right, I'm very easy to please when it comes to all this. But I feel like it's coming out at an inopportune time that it's going to sell less because there are people who might have wanted this at one point, but they don't want it now. They don't feel like they need it, because of these other games that continue to reuse these zones that we're now being asked to revisit again. It's tiring. It is, and I see where they're coming from. Is that going to deter me from getting a Generations remaster? No, not alone. What will deter me is the quality of how it looks, Once it's actually potentially revealed and all that stuff, that's when I'll make my decision as to whether I'm actually going to get it or not. But I understand for some people, if they simply don't want a remaster based on that alone, if that one thing turns them away, I completely understand it. I do. I get it. I can't blame them. It makes sense, But yeah, I'm kind of worried that a Generations remaster might not perform so great because of those reasons. There was one more concern I actually had, but I didn't write it down. Now I gotta try and quickly remember it here. Okay, I'm back. I remember my final concern. My final concern is that this remaster could potentially sacrifice quantity over quality, and I mean that content-wise, right? This remaster might serve us. It might do the Colors Ultimate thing, where it just like jingles keys in front of us, gives us all these seemingly great reasons to buy it. Like, oh, look at all this content that we're adding, all this extra stuff. We got Metal Sonic races, we got movie Sonic skins and keychains, and hell was that? I don't know if anybody heard that, but there was a large boom in the background. People are being noisy and inconsiderate. I'm trying to record here. Anyway, yeah, I'm afraid that they're going to focus on the quality of quantity of the content over than the quality. What I'm saying is that I'm unwilling to sacrifice the quality of the original game for more content, right? Again, I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it till I'm blue in the face. I would have taken a 1-to-1 port. No extra content, no extra bells or whistles, no nothing. Just a 1-to-1 port of the original game. I would have taken that as long as it was given justice, as long as it was done justice. But I'm afraid that this is gonna focus more on the quantity. Just give us things regardless of their quality. Just act like this is overall a better net positive. Is more content In Sonic Generations, overall net positive, yes, it could be, yes. Even if the new stages or whatever, or new playable characters or whatever, aren't as polished or as quality as the original game's content, that's still overall net positive. It's the same way I felt about the Mario Kart 8 Booster Pass course. You know, it was less quality in the original game's courses, but it was still more content, right? Overall a net positive, especially because it wasn't all that bad in the grand scheme of things, right? But I feel like in this case, they could completely miss the mark on that, you know? They could completely focus on, you know, more playable characters. We got Shadow, we got more stages, like, we're acknowledging the handheld games. We got, like, the Water Palace from the 3DS version in this game now. You know, we got all those zones that you guys wanted before. We got them in here now, but the level design is way worse than the original games, and it's mostly 2D, and they're shorter. like I'm not, and they're glitchy and they're buggy. I'm not willing to make that sacrifice, right? I just want a port or a remaster that is on quality of the original game, if not more than that, right? And if that means getting less content, that's fine. I don't need all these extra bells and whistles to get me to pay for the game. I will pay for the game, all right? I just want to take Generations on the go. But like, but yeah, honestly, I don't know. My overall feelings on this whole thing are very, they're complicated, right? It's a mixed bag right now. I know some people don't like to hear it, but I'm going to say it. I'm cautiously optimistic. I am. I do not exactly have the highest hopes going in, and I'm just waiting for the actual trailer or whatever. I'm waiting for some actual gameplay footage. I'm waiting for an actual official word from Sega, you know, at the Sony State of Play before I ultimately make my decision. I will give my further thoughts on it once we actually get a look at this thing, you know? Right now, I'm just kind of going off of speculation, off of rumors, and off of what I'm worried about and what I'm hopeful for. That's all I'm really doing here. And I honestly, I don't know, man. I mean, this generation's remaster really could be a make or break deal. You know, this could be the final nail in the coffin of Sonic remasters, you know? This could be the thing that really cements the reputation as wholly bad, you know? Things that can never turn out well. Either that or it could completely do a 180. Change everything we know about Sonic remasters. It really could swing either way. And I guess all we can really do at this point is wait till tomorrow. Wait till tomorrow when the day of reckoning befalls us all. Anyway, yeah, that's about it for me. That's all I got. Those are pretty much all my thoughts on the Sonic Generations potential remaster that could be coming soon here. I'm curious to continue this discussion in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. What are your hopes? What are your fears? Let's discuss this together. Let's have a real good productive conversation on this, because man, I kind of want to get I really am quite curious as to what people are really thinking about this. You know, I'm worried, I'm concerned, but I'm also still a little bit excited. You know, if things turn out well, great. You know, we win. We win. If this generation's remaster really does change the game on what we know about remasters and whatnot, we win. Right? But, like, if it does the exact opposite of that, well, damn. Yeah, anyway, my computer's gonna die. So it's about time I go. I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys in the comments. Miguel signing off.